On a busy highway, cars screeched to a halt as a tiny owl fearlessly blocked their path. Drivers honked and swerved, assuming the bird had gone mad. But when Officer Sarah arrived and spotted a mysterious glint on its leg, she realized this was no random act of defiance. This bird had a message to deliver. What started as a routine call turned into an extraordinary mystery. The owl, refusing to move, flapped its wings and screeched, as if desperately trying to communicate. When Sarah cautiously approached, the bird did something astonishing. It hopped onto her hand as if it had been waiting for her. That's when she noticed it. A thin metal cord wrapped around its leg, holding a small blue stone that shimmered in the sunlight. Something about this owl's determination sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. This wasn't just a stubborn bird. It was a messenger, and she had no idea that following it would lead her straight into the heart of an incredible rescue mission with the help of a driver named Ree. Sarah organized a detour, giving her time to investigate. When local wildlife expert Dr. Stephen Mitchell arrived, he immediately recognized a strange object on the owl's leg. It wasn't just an ornament. It was a trail marker, the kind hikers use to mark their routes. And this one belonged to a man named Robert, who had recently vanished in the wilderness. The realization hit them like a thunderbolt. The owl wasn't lost. It was leading them to someone who needed help. With no time to waste, Sarah and Dr. Mitchell decided to trust their unexpected guide. As they ventured into the dense forest, the owl flew ahead, stopping periodically to wait for them. It was leading them with purpose, guiding them through treacherous terrain. Along the way, they found signs, boot prints, broken branches, faint markings on trees. Robert had been here. The deeper they went, the more convinced they became that the owl wasn't just acting on instinct. It was fulfilling a promise. After an hour of trekking, night began to fall, casting eerie shadows between the towering trees. The air grew cold, and Sarah shivered, but the owl remained persistent. Occasionally, it would pause on a low branch, staring back at them as if urging them forward. Sarah and Dr. Mitchell pressed on, now navigating through uneven ground and thick underbrush. Suddenly, they came across a torn backpack caught on a jagged rock. Inside, they found a half-empty water bottle, a flashlight with dead batteries, and a map with an X marked near their location. Robert had tried to leave a clue. "This must be his last known spot," Dr. Mitchell murmured, scanning the surroundings. The owl let out a sharp cry and took flight again, leading them toward a ravine. The ground became treacherous, with loose rocks and hidden roots threatening to trip them at every step. Sarah could feel her heart pounding as she carefully made her way across a narrow ledge. Then a faint sound reached their ears, hoarse, barely audible. "Did you hear that?" Sarah asked, holding her breath. Dr. Mitchell nodded. "Over there." Following the owl, they pushed through a dense patch of foliage and found a steep drop leading into a dark cave. The owl flapped its wings frantically, hovering over the entrance. Sarah grabbed her flashlight and shined it into the darkness. There, lying motionless against the cave wall, was Robert. Scrambling down, Sarah checked his pulse, weak but steady. His lips were dry and his clothes were torn. He had been surviving on what little water he had left. When the owl landed beside him, Robert's eyes fluttered open. "You came?" he whispered hoarsely, looking at the bird. Then his gaze shifted to Sarah and Dr. Mitchell. "I knew it would find help." Relief flooded Sarah's chest. "We've got you, Robert. You're safe now." Dr. Mitchell quickly provided water, and with effort, they helped Robert to his feet. He was weak but conscious, holding onto Sarah's shoulder for support. As they carefully made their way back, the owl followed, flying overhead like a silent guardian. By the time they reached safety, dawn was breaking, casting golden light over the treetops. Paramedics were waiting, ready to take Robert to the hospital. Before he left, he turned back to the owl, his eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you," he whispered, as the bird perched on a branch, watching him go. News of the rescue spread like wildfire, turning the owl into a local legend. It wasn't just a bird. It was a hero, a symbol of loyalty, intelligence, and the unbreakable bond between humans and nature. Robert made a full recovery, Forever grateful to Officer Sarah, Dr. Mitchell, and most of all, the little owl that refused to give up from that day forward. Whenever people spotted an owl in the forest, they couldn't help but wonder, was it just another bird? Or was it watching over them, waiting for its next chance to change a life?